members of the Coalition for Reproductive Freedom. And we have been working with a number of organizations across the state, welcome, on a doula reimbursement bill. I see a number of doulas in the audience actually right there. And the Doula Reimbursement Act would ensure that doulas are reimbursed through Medicaid as well as private insurance, right? And this is important because of the state of the Black maternal health in the nation, but also the state. We know that while there's people of color, primarily Black women are significantly impacted by the disparity here. Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die in childbirth than their white counterparts, and we have to do something about that. And the Doula Reimbursement Act is one way of addressing this, right? There are a multiplicity of ways, but this is one aspect of that pie. And in talking about Black maternal health, what we also want to talk about is what reproductive freedom can look like for Black mamas. In very much the same way that we talk about what is happening with the crisis, the public health crisis, people need to have a clearer understanding of what that freedom looks like for people when it's grounded in cultural competency and when they have a say in how to birth and all of that. So that is one of the reasons for the discussion here today. One of the reasons for the discussion here today, and we'll be taking these conversations across the state so people can have their say about what it looks like for them, so we can get comfortable with having those conversations. And so when people also go to their medical providers, they also have a clear understanding of how they can advocate for themselves and people in their lives. They also have a clear understanding of, that doesn't seem right with what's happening in the medical industrial complex, and this is what it needs to look like. So we have some great people here today who will be having those conversations as we move throughout the discussion this evening. So welcome everybody. I'm so happy you're here, and there's food here from the Caribbean. I'm from Jamaica, so we have some Jamaican food there, as well as Asian food as well. So welcome once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Carmen, for the work you're doing with Planned Parenthood. A lot of people think Planned Parenthood is only about right for abortion, but it's more than that. So it's reproductive freedom. So that includes right for healthcare. And today we're going to talk about beautiful stories about women that experience them. And we think how we can ensure that every Black woman can experience beautiful stories. Yes. So every Black woman don't have to be afraid to get pregnant, and because they don't know what's going to happen. So that's really what we're going to be talking about. We have panelists, Cindy Yerkanel. She is the parent. She's a mother of 2, and she received her BS and Udalin College. Devoted nurse and compassionate and awesome mother. She is my friend, I can tell you. So we went to high school together, so in Haiti, and it's a pleasure for me to have her in the panel writing to talk about her beautiful experience of having babies. Hello, welcome. And we have Sterling Clinton Spellman. She's a speaker and an entrepreneur. And they will have a chance to talk more about themselves and present themselves. So, Sterling, you want to talk first?
Just to say a little bit about myself?
Yes.
Okay. I like talking about myself.
Hey!
Not so much. Hello, everyone. evening. My name is Spellman. I am a speaker and author and entrepreneur. My husband and I own a food truck, and this is our 6th year. We actually started our 2nd food truck. And I also, I just started a new nonprofit for girls of color in the city of Providence to focus on their personal development and travel, and how travel really does change your brain and how you develop. And I'm really excited about that. It's called College Gems. I also am a mother to the little girl you see running around here, Hasana. She's 4 years old. And I'm currently pregnant. I'm 12 weeks on Wednesday, so I'm about 11 and a half weeks pregnant now. And we're really excited to expand our family. A little, what can I call it? I guess it's not a secret, but a little, funny thing, right? I want 6 children, so let's see how that works. So I'm trying to convince my husband. He said 4 will be enough, but I'm convincing him for 6. So we'll see. So I'm getting started a little late in life, but we're excited to expand our family.
So, my name is Cindy. I'm from Haiti, and I'm a registered nurse. I went to Rhode Island College. I moved here about 9 years ago from Haiti, and I have 2 kids, a boy and a girl. The girl is 3 and a half, and the girl is 1 and a half now. That's about it. I am home care nurse. I work at Cedars Home Health and also at Senior Helpers in West Warwick, and I do home care. I manage patients from hospital to communities and take care of them, and do the transition. So I've dealt with a lot of different cultures and people of color, low income, high income, and I've been exposed to the impact of what healthcare, the impact of healthcare on different stage groups and also different racial groups. So I'm sharing my story with you, and that's about it.
Yes. So we have 2 more speakers that should be here. There's a little, I would say, misunderstanding about the time. And if they are coming still, I hope, and we will transitioning. And we have our Zoom here with us that will entertain us. So we're here until 7:30. We know we have some people who cannot stay until 7:30. And we want to say thank you to all of you. And if you have to leave, it's okay, but your presence means so much to us. Thank you so much. I want to thank Steve Alquist, our supporter, for any time and any issue that impacted us. His work is priceless. So we don't have money. No one has money to, thank Steve for what he's doing. And we want to say a big thank you to Jim Vincent. He's here. Jim Vincent is the president and NWCP in Rhode Island. The work Jim's been doing to ensure rights and justice is prevailed. So thank you, Jim. Thank you, Steve, and thank you to each one of you, and to take your time in your busy, your busy schedule to come because you think this issue matters for you. You are here because you want to see black women have a better outcome when they give birth. And which report shows that 3 to 4 black women are more to, 3 to 4, they are more likely to die than a white woman. And we're not talking about bad experience today. We're not talking about the negative experience. We're not talking about the beautiful experience, and to work together to see how we can move forward with beautiful experience, and we not have to say all the time the bad experience. So I want to ask a question. We have some questions. So I would say with the first question, tell us, each of you will answer the question. It's a conversation we're having. So tell us about your experience of having your first child. So who wants to answer first?
Okay. So Hassan is 4 years old. When I found out I was pregnant, I was really excited, and I wanted to make sure, my mother's a midwife, and so I wanted to make sure I had a midwife. So I went through the OBGYN Associates of Rhode Island, and they were really good to me. The experience was awesome. I also decided to have a doula because I had been reading about it, and it's funny, my family's from Liberia, and my family never spoke to me about a doula because the culture is to have that anyway. You have a support, the whole village supports you, and one of the things I didn't know is that when you had a baby, my mom said the only time she would hold us is when she had to breastfeed us, because there were so many people around her who would be helping to change the baby, to do whatever it is that she needed to cook for her. So she was really well cared for, and I wanted that same experience. I was like, listen, try to have that same experience. So I was hearing about this doula thing, and I would say 4 years ago, I couldn't find a doula of color in Rhode Island. And for me, representation matters. I wanted someone who understood, you know, my culture, my the different things I wanted, also my age, because we know in this country, once you're over 25 trying to have a kid, you're an old duckling, and they have all these things to say to you that frighten the heck out of you when you're pregnant. And so I looked online and I found a woman in Boston. And I was like, oh, that's because she's about an hour away, how's that going to work out? But it worked out really well, and she came to my house. She happened to also be a massage therapist, which was a plus. So during our consultation over the phone, she told me, I was like, girlfriend, do you do massages in your home? And so she did. She brought her, you know, the travel table, and she did a maternal massage for me in the home. My husband was very open to meeting with her, and they had their talk about what he could do to support during the pregnancy and during labor. So it was a really awesome experience for me to find this woman who, because I couldn't find her in Rhode Island, like I said. Now I'm happy to do this pregnancy. I have a lot of choices here in Rhode Island, and I will say that the cost, luckily, you know, we did have the money. The cost was a little expensive, and I often did think about the women who couldn't afford it, because it's not a necessity, right? Even though it was a necessity, but it was a little pricey, and the average person probably couldn't afford to pay for it who was having a baby. So I feel blessed that I was able to have someone come into the home and then also be there with me during my 42-hour labor.
Yes. So you have the support with you during the labor at the hospital?
Yes.
And then you have to look after you give birth as well?
Yes. So our agreement was for her to come after I had the baby. She was there during. She did come because my labor was so long and I wasn't progressing. So the first couple of hours I was at the ABC Center. The couple of, I would say the first 7 hours, I'm like, I can push. And they're like, no, you can't, you're not dilated. I was not dilated, but my water did break, and I have meconium in my water. So I had to be monitored and all the things that I didn't want, but you know, you cannot plan. You have a plan, but it might not go as planned. And so she came, I would say maybe 30-something hours in, but it was because I wasn't dilated and she was so far away. So like I said, I'm happy that there are local people who can come, and if they have to leave, because 42 hours is a long time to be supporting someone, you know? So yeah, so I'm looking forward to the local people, shout out to the local people who will be able to be at my birth. And we pray it won't be 42 hours this time.
So you have the experience of doula, and now, like, we pray, we cross our fingers, because we have a bill, okay? We have a bill, and Planned Parenthood we've been pushing for that and working with Representative Marcia Basel and Senator Anna Quesada. This bill already introduced at the state, on the Senate floor, and we think people will, you know, our lawmakers will do the right thing to vote on this bill, and then we can have more support, right, to experience this beautiful support to have a doula in Rhode Island, that more women can go through this path because not, as you said, it's expensive. Not every woman can afford to have a doula. Did you have a doula? What's your experience?
Actually, I wasn't aware of that at all. I was in nursing school when I found out I was pregnant. Actually, I was taking my training class. The day I gave birth. Actually, I wasn't aware at all that my support system was my family, and I didn't have, I didn't know, I wasn't aware that was possible. And if it was possible for me to have somebody that could be there for me, somebody that would go into the system and know how it works and all that, I would not be able to afford it. I was in nursing school. I was working full-time the whole time I was pregnant throughout, but I would not have been able to afford this. If it's covered by the insurance, that would be like a blessing, I believe, for so many people that would need it. I found my baby came on my due date. I booked my order that same day. Went to the hospital. We rushed to the hospital. My husband and I, we had no idea. That was our first baby. We had no idea what we were doing. We had an easy pregnancy, and when we got there, unfortunately, was pushing for almost an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. Was pushing. Nothing was going right, so they decided to take the baby. We had to have a C-section. It was. I hope that at that moment I had somebody who understood it was going on better. I know I was studying in school. I had just passed my classes and everything, but it was a shock. Like everybody's coming in and they tell you so many information. You have no English is like my third language.
I know what you're talking about.
We were lost. And thankfully, I had wonderful nurses at that moment, and they worked me through this, and it happened. But yeah, we had a surprise section for the first baby. And on my second one, I decided that I didn't want the same thing to happen, so I went to the midwife. I went to the associate on River Ave, and that's when I had a Haitian midwife. So I decided to go with her instead of going to a regular doctor. So I decided. But yeah,
so you have a better outcome with your second child?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So it wasn't a doula, but someone who...
Yes, somebody that I could connect with. Somebody, she was just like me. Same culture, same understanding. She had the education that she needed here. And that makes it so much easier throughout the second pregnancy. Yeah.
And I would like to add also the fact of having someone there to advocate for you, because when you're in labor, your mind is over there, right? You're not even taking in a lot of times what they're saying to you. And
yes.
If you have a language barrier, forget about it, right? And I would say for me, because I was so distraught that my plan wasn't working out, and I knew I did not want a cesarean, but my doula helped me to understand that you have done your best. Like, we cannot, your water broke 42 hours ago, now you're in the danger zone. We have to do the cesarean, and you're going to be okay. You're going to survive, and we're going to make sure that, the doctors understand. And she was there advocating for me and speaking up for me when I couldn't, and when my husband was now fearful because it was not working out the way we planned it, right? And then also, after having the baby, making sure that we did skin to skin, making sure that we delayed clamping, because I was like, I want this still to happen, making sure that they kept my placenta because I wanted it. So I knew all of this, but I wasn't thinking about that. But she helped to remind them. She said she wants a placenta. Make sure you delay clamping. She does not want shots for the baby, so make sure you don't do that. And also breastfeeding, to bring the baby to me to do skin to skin and to breastfeed when she came out. And when I tell you she was a champ, that baby crawled up there, and she was a champ from then. And but she was able to advocate for us. And that's what's really important, because everybody there has their role. The midwife has their role, and your husband or your support system has their role, but they might be exhausted and tired after so many hours, or just fearful too and not really knowing what to say. So to have this other person there that this is their role, to advocate for you, to make sure X, Y, and Z gets done, is very valuable. Very valuable.
Yes. I have a second question for you. So what you can share with us, you observe in the system, the healthcare system in Rhode and you give very Rhode Island, that you want to promote or you want to change?
So I want to promote more women going to midwives. Because this second time around, there was a change in insurance, and so I thought I wasn't going to be able to go to a midwife office because we would have to pay out of pocket, and I was like, Lord, please. But my prayer was answered, and it did. So the first time I did go to a regular OB/GYN office, and I was like, no. It was like a completely different feel. I felt like a number. I felt like they already started with the scare tactics. Oh, you're 35. You know, we have to start doing all these screenings and all. And I said, no. I said, in my country, women have babies well into their 50s. And I know I'm not in that country. I know I'm in America, and the diet and all that is different. But I said, my mother had me at 40 in America, and please don't scare me with all of that. I'm full aware. I have done my research, and I don't want those type of tests. I just don't. I said, whether the baby's going to have Down syndrome or whatever, that's not my concern. I'm not going to get rid of the baby. So there's no need for me to go and get that test and be stressed out the entire pregnancy. And so I was, like I said, I was able to go back to my regular OB/GYN because the insurance was able to take it. And it's just a much better experience. I love the midwife's office. They really do push for what the woman wants. Of course, they have to, do all the standard medical things. But so I want to promote more, women going to a midwife's office. Something I would like to change is I would hope that more healthcare professionals would listen to us. And we hear stories like Serena Williams, who almost died because they would not listen to her, and she's knowing what's going on with her body and they're not listening. I can recall, so I breastfed my daughter up until 6 months ago, so November, and she just turned 4. So, woo, shout out. I didn't think I was going to go that long, but thanks to Chocolate Milk Cafe, I was able to go that long, and she stopped on her own. She said, Mommy, a new baby's coming. And I had to stop. I had to save it for my brother and sister. So I ran into the pregnant because I'm like, I wonder if I'm pregnant and it's tasting different to her. But I wasn't. I just got pregnant in February. But she knew it was coming, so she stopped her cold turkey just one day, stopped on her own. So I was like, okay. But I remember maybe 18 months into breastfeeding, I finally got my cycle back, but it was like really heavy, almost to the point of hemorrhaging. So I went to the emergency room, women and infants. And so, they're asking me questions. They haven't assessed me yet, but they're asking me questions. They're like, wait a minute, you're still breastfeeding? Are you really doing, are you doing this for comfort? So that's the first thing they said to me. So I said, well, what does that have to do with, you didn't assess me yet? So she goes, well, I have to get a specialist in here because I'm not sure why you're breastfeeding. Is your daughter eating food? I'm like, yes, she's eating food, but I still nurse. And so she's going on. I said, do you know the world average is 4 years old for babies to breastfeed? Oh no, I just think this is too much. This is probably why you're having problems with your cycle. And she's going on and on and on. And so she sends in this woman. And I think the look on my face, the look I see. Because I said, you all have not assessed me. You haven't checked me. You haven't done any tests. And the first thing you're jumping on me is about breastfeeding. I said, you give your, whatever standards, you give grown children cow's milk, but you're telling me not to give my child what was made for their body. So before you do that, I need you to go and do your job and check what's going on with me. And they were like, oh, okay, I guess let us get on it, But that just upsets me that they don't listen or they jump to conclusions before even assessing you. And so that's very frustrating for me. Just in, having elderly parents who are in the system and are people of color, and just seeing how doctors treat them sometimes is very frustrating because yes, we're not medically trained, but we know our bodies. And if someone is saying something, at least listen. So that's what's a little frustrating for me.
Thank you. That's the same thing, but what you want to change, what you observe, you are a nurse, and you have experience as a mother, and you're working in the system. So what do you observe in the healthcare system actually that you want to change, or what you want to promote?
What I would like to change is the approach of many nurses and other medical professionals, like doctors and such, toward women who choose to give birth naturally, like with no epidural or something. I was at Women and Infant for about 5 months. I was through my clinical experience, and I catch nurses and clinicians in the back so many times complaining that that person is refusing to get the epidural, or that person is refusing, to take any medications so they don't scream. They're like, I don't like when they're screaming. They're like, it's driving them crazy. Some of the nurses in back home, when women are giving birth, it's like so free. Everybody knows that it hurts. You're gonna be screaming. There's gonna be noises. Here, they want everything to be quiet. They don't like the noise. They don't like the noises, and they pause that. Get the C-section and done with it. You can get in the C-section in about 20 minutes and they're done. But natural birth, allow it to come naturally. It takes so long, and so many of the doctors are not permitting it. The ABC room at Women and Infant, we had a few people when I was there that decided to have natural birth, and they had the birthing room, they had the water, everything, like so people can get it naturally. Which was like at the time I was there for clinicals, there was a group of nurses that was promoting that, see if they can, encourage opening other rooms. Like there was 2 rooms at the time I was there. That was available for that. So allowing the birth to be natural, and for the woman to express the
feeling. So that's cool.
Yeah.
You can swim. It's a time to swim, right?
A lot of nurses are not used to it, and when it happens, we go crazy.
Yeah.
So I would like to see if they can change the approach of healthcare professional toward that. The other thing that I would see, change or promote is addressing people's pain. I recently admitted a patient to home care, and she's a Black woman, and she just had back surgeries. She had a previous knee surgery, and between 6 months she had a back surgery. And she was opening to me because she was like, oh, I'm so happy that there's a sister coming. So she was opening to me, and she was telling me about all the things that she went through in the hospital after the surgery. They sent her back after 2 days after the surgery. She went home, didn't go to rehab. She went straight home, and she was in so much pain. So I was managing her pain meds with her, and I was going between the opioids med, the gabapentin that she has for, and I'm like, try to take them, take the Tylenol in the middle so she can spread it, so she's not in so much pain. And she was telling me that when she was in the hospital, she was in pain, but she will not say it because she didn't want to be seen as somebody who's seeking. And I think that's something that.
Report shows that there is a bias regarding Black women. So the bias as Black women has high tolerance for pain, and we know we are human beings as well. So that's why when you think those kind of issue, something that could be changed, right? So my next question to you: what do we do? What do we do to ensure that all Black women continue to have birthing experience, beautiful, supportive, understandable experience? What do we do? What can we do?
Do what you're doing now. Just take a seat at the table, make your needs heard. Don't just sit back and say, well, that's the way it is, Take steps introduce bills, get involved, and I think that's the best way to. If you sit down, if you don't sit down on the table and expect that your steak come rare the way you like it, that's not gonna happen. You have to put in your order. So, yeah, talk about it. Yeah.
So,
For me, I think on a systemic level, we need cultural competency in nursing schools, in medical schools. Like, it can't be an add-on or maybe this elective you can take. It has to be at the core, because one of the things I didn't mention before, because I know we're talking about the positive, but
yes,
historically, when we think about what has happened to the bodies of Black women in this country, from slavery time and using their bodies as guinea pigs to do whatever type of science thing they want to do, I am very cautious of the medical system and not trusting. And so, knowing that, I think we have to focus first as a country. We have to admit that this has happened, and at every level, we need to have cultural competency. We need to have people talking about this. It needs to be a part of the program. It cannot be something extra that some people want to. They have to want to do, because at that point, you're preaching to the choir. These people have already, they're already interested. No, we need all the doctors who are not thinking about this. We need them to know this. It has to be a part of this, So that's where I think we start. It has to go back to in medical school. It has to go back to nursing school, where they're learning about this, and it has to be something that continues.
Hello, we have one more coming.